following is a class on the Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, 6th Chapter, Text number 1, given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on March 15th, 1968, in San Francisco.
So, we have been discussing Prahlada Maharaja's instruction to his class fellows. Fortunately, we have got some little boys. So, it is very interesting. Prahlada Maharaj was 5 years old boy, and he was preaching Krishna consciousness. They are all the boys, and Prahlada Maharaj himself belonged to the atheist class, most materialist. They did not know anything beyond sense enjoy, that's all. All the fathers of the students, class fellow of Prahlada Maharaj, they belong to the atheist family. In Sanskrit language, the atheist is called Asura, Assyrian, and the persons who are God conscious, they are called Suras or Aryans. So, they belong to the family of Assyrian or Asuras. So, Prahlada Maharaj, completely atheist, by the grace of Krishna and by the grace of his mother, he became a great devotee. From very childhood, from his birth, he was a devotee. Why he became such devotee, that is explained in later chapters. We shall come to that. So, he was educating in the school amongst his class fellows to become Krishna conscious. So he is preaching just in the tiffin hour, in the recess hour. As soon as the teachers gone, he took the opportunity and stood up on the bench and began to agitate his friends, my dear friends. Kumarang asarit prag. Now, we should become Krishna conscious from this childhood. Don't wait for your old age. Generally people think that when we shall become old, we shall take care of becoming Krishna conscious or God conscious or go to the church or temple. At present, let us play and enjoy life. The Prahlada Maharaj says, no. Kaumarang acharit prajna. Prajna means intelligent. Intelligent means who does not waste time. Time is very valuable. You are American people, you know very well how to utilize time. But time is very valuable, is also accepted in Vedic civilization. There is a very nice verse in Chanakya's law. You just see how much time was considered as valuable by this verse till now. Chanakya Pandit says, Chanakya Pandit was a great politician. He was sometimes Prime Minister of the Emperor of India. So he says, Ayusha Chanayekopi na labhya sarnakotivhi. He says that a moment's time of your duration of life, moment, not to speak of hours and days, but moment. He was considering moment to moment. Just like today, 15th March 1968, now it is 7:30 or past 7:35. Now, this 1968, 7:35 gone, as soon as it is 7:36, you cannot bring back that 1968 15th March evening 7:35 again. Even if you pay millions of dollars, please come back again. No. Finished. So Chanakya says that time is so valuable that if you pay millions of golden coins, you cannot get back even a moment. What is lost for good. Sache nirathakanganitaha. If you such valuable time spoil for nothing, without any profit, kanu hanis tatodhita. Just imagine how much you are losing, how greatly you are loser. The thing which you cannot get back by paying millions of dollars, if that is lost for nothing, how much you are losing, just imagine. So, the same thing, Prahlada Maharaja says that Dharmana Bhagavatam, to become Krishna conscious or God conscious, is so important that we should not lose even a moment's time. Immediately we shall begin. Why? Durlabhang manavang janma, manusang janma. He said that this human form of body is very rare. It is obtained after many, many births. The modern civilization, they do not understand what is the value of this human form of life. They think that this body is meant for sense enjoyment like cats and dogs. The cats and dogs, they are also enjoying life in four principles: eating, sleeping, defending and mating. So, human form of life is not meant for spoiling like cats and dogs. Human form of life is meant for something else. And that something else is Krishna conscious or God conscious. Because without human form of life, no other body can understand what is God, what is this world, what I am, where from I have come, where I have to go. These things are meant for human life. So, he says that from very childhood, actually, this is essential, from childhood, in the schools, in the colleges, this Bhagavatam Dharma or the occupation of Krishna consciousness should be introduced. This is necessary, but they do not understand. They think that this part life is all, and this body is all, and there is no other life, next life. They do not believe it. This is all due to ignorance. Life is eternity, and this spot life is preparation for the next life. So Prahlada Maharaja says, Durlava. Durlava means very rarely obtained. And modern anthropologists, they also admitted that after many evolutions of different species of life, this human form of life is obtained. But they do not know what it is meant for. That is answered here, Prahlada Maharaja. We have to pass through many millions of species of life. There are 900,000 species of life in the water, 1100,000 species of life, Jalajana Valakhani, Sthavara Lokhavimshati. Sthavara means plants and trees. There are 2 million species of life. And Jalajana Valakhani, Sthavara Lokhavimshati, Kirmaya Rudra Sangha. And worms, they are 1,100,000 species of life. Kirmaya Rudra Sangha. Pakshinam Dasalakkham. And birds, they are 1 million species of life. And then 4-legged beasts, there are 3 million species of life. And human form of life, beginning from the most uncivilized to the civilized form of life, there are only 400,000 species of life. So in consideration of all the total species of life, human form of life is very small. Only 400. Out of 8,400,000 of species of life, human form of life is only 400,000. Out of that, there are many uncivilized. So the Aryan family, they are considered as advanced civilized. So with full developed consciousness, and therefore this is the opportunity for understanding the value of life. So Kaumaravacharit Pragya Dharman Bhagavatani Dullabang Manasan Janma Tadapi Adhruvam Arthadam. He says that this life is very valuable, very rare, but it is also temporary. Because it is very rarely obtained, it is not permanent, it is also temporary, like cats and dogs, they have got their temporary body. But the one significance of this body is Arthadam. Arthadam means you can derive the greatest value in this life. Arthadam. Artha means money, and Paramartha means spiritual consciousness. That is also Artha. So, one should be engaged for earning money, because the body requires material necessity. That's all right. But his real attention should be how to achieve spiritual consciousness or Krishna consciousness. That is Arthadam. That is the value of life. Jatahi Purushasyeha Vishnu Padopasarpanam Jadeva Sarvabhutana Vya Atme Saram Suhit. And what is that spiritual consciousness? Purushasya Vishnu Padopasarpanam. Vishnu means the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is called Vishnu, all-pervading. The word used here, Vishnu. Vishnu means who is all-pervading, at the same time he is a person. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is person, at the same time he is all-pervading. How it is in our material conception, we cannot imagine, but there is a proof in your presence. Just like the sun. Sun is localized. You can see every day. Sun globe is located at a certain place in the outer space, but the sun sign is all-pervading. Sun is present everywhere by his all-pervasive sun sign. Similarly, Vishnu, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is in his abode, which is called Vishnu Loka, or the kingdom of God, or Krishna Loka, whatever you may understand. He has got his particular abode, but at the same time, by his different energies, he is all-pervading. There is another example of this all-pervasiveness of God in the Vishnu Purana, that just like fire is situated in one place, but its light and heat is distributed long distance. Similarly, whatever we see within this cosmic manifestation, that is diffusion of the energy of the Supreme Personality of God. So, Prahlada Maharaja points out that jata hi purusasya Vishnu pado upasarpanam jadeva sarvabhutanang priya atme sarang sweet. One should be Krishna conscious or God conscious. Why? Because he is the master of yourself and the most intimate friend. Sweet. Jatha Atmeshara. Atmeshara means we are individual self and he is the original super self. Just like we, for the present, we like this body, we love this body. Why? Because the body is the production of the soul. Without soul, there is no body. Just like a child born, if the soul is there, the child will grow. If the child is born dead, however chemically you can keep up that body, it will never grow. So that is the significance of the presence of the soul. So as the body grows on account of presence of the soul, similarly the soul, individual soul, is the part and parcel of the Supreme Law. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that Mamaivamsa Jiva Bhuta, all these living entities, they are my part and parcel. We are part and parcel of God. You can study, you can understand what is the nature of God by studying yourself, because you are sample God. You are miniature small God. Just like particle of gold is also a small particle, it is also gold. Similarly, because we are part and parcel of God, therefore they are all the ingredients, all the chemical compounds in the God we have got. The soul is the protection of Krishna. Therefore, ultimately, he is our dearmost friend. we are trying to love somebody. That somebody is a perverted reflection of Krishna. Actually, just like the child is searching after the mother's breast, and it is crying. If somebody takes the child, he is not satisfied, because he cannot express that I want my mother. Similarly, we are hankering after loving Krishna in a perverted way. But because we have no information of Krishna, we have forgotten our relationship with Krishna. Therefore, we are loving this body, that body. Ultimately, I am loving a cat or dog or something. The love is there, but we have misplaced the love. As soon as we replace our love to Krishna, then our perfection of love is manifested and our perfection of life is also achieved. Lord Chaitanya preached this philosophy, the prema pumartha mahan. Prema means love. His philosophy, Lord Chaitanya's philosophy is Aradha Bhagavan Brajasa Tanaya. Brajasa Tanaya means Krishna. Krishna appeared as the son of the king of Braja, Vrindavan. Therefore, and Tanaya means son. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is propagation, is teaching. The substance of his teaching is that Krishna is the most worshipable object. Aradha Bhagavan Brajasita Tadhyamam Vrindavanam. And as he is worshipable, similarly his place, the Vrindavan, where he appears, that is also worshipable. Aradha Bhagavan Brajasita Tadhyamam Vrindavanam Ramya Kachid Upasana Brajavadavija Kalpita. And the method of worship, the best method of worship of Krishna was exhibited by the gopis. Now, what was the worshipable method of gopis? The gopis, they are not very learned scholars or Vedantists or theosophists or mental speculators, not. They are ordinary village girls, and that also not coming of a very high royal family or Brahmin family. They were cow herdsmen. So their fathers were not very rich, but they had several cows, that's all. So the gopis' method of Krishna worship was that they could not forget Krishna even for a moment. That was their qualification. There are many verses about the mental situation of the gopis. I shall just try to explain you about their mentality, how they are loving Krishna. Krishna used to take his cows to the forest for pasture, and the gopis, when Krishna is away from the village, the gopis were thinking, oh, Krishna's foot is so soft, and he is walking barefooted on the stones and chips of stones, and they are pricking his foot. How much he is suffering. In this way they are thinking and crying. Krishna is away from the village and is walking in the forest, and the gopis are thinking at home that how much troublesome the walking is that he has gone out. In this way there are so many. While they were at home, while they were cooking, or they were feeding their children, always they are thinking of Krishna. That was their quality. They were so much absorbed in thought of Krishna that not a single moment were without Krishna consciousness. So therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends that Ramya Kasid Upasana Brajavadhu Bhargavi Jakalpita. There is no better method of worship than it was conceived by the gopis. And what is that? The gopis, at 24 hours, were always Krishna conscious. They were requesting Krishna, my dear Krishna, many yogis, many saintly persons, they go to the forest and meditate upon your lotus feet, but they cannot fix up. They cannot fix up. They meditate your lotus feet, but they think of something else. They are not perfect. Their meditation fails. But in our case, your lotus feet is so much fixed up in our heart that we are thinking of you and we cannot discharge our family duties. So kindly get out of our heart. That's it. Please excuse, kindly go out of our heart so that we can do our duty. That was their prayer. Therefore, that is Krishna consciousness, ideal Krishna consciousness. You have to mold your life in such a way that you cannot think of Krishna. You cannot think but Krishna only. The gopis were doing their duty, their housewives, girls, they had their husbands, children. But in spite of all these things, they were thinking of Krishna. So this is the instruction in the Bhagavad Gita. Manvana bhava mad bhakta madhyaji mang namaskuru. Krishna says that always be thinking of me in your mind. Manmana. Mana means mind. Manmana bhava mad bhakta, and become my devotee. Don't think me as your enemy. Sometimes Krishna is thought of as enemy. That kind of thought is useless. Not useless. Of course, the enemies who thought of Krishna always, they also got salvation. Because after all they thought of Krishna. But not in that way. Krishna says, Manmana bhava mad bhakta, just becoming my lover and devotee. Manmana bhava mad bhakta madhyaji, just worship me. Madhyaji mang namaskuru, and offer your obeisances unto me. In this way, mameva ishyasi, you will come back to me. Asansha, without any doubt. So this is the benefit of Krishna consciousness. And Prahlada Maharaja is teaching that in this human form of life, especially from childhood, people should be taught God consciousness, Krishna consciousness, somehow or other. Then their life will be successful. And don't spoil your life, otherwise. This is the instruction we have begun, and we shall continue it. If you please come, we shall talk.